Hello, YouTube. This is your man, Blue Collar Crypto, coming at you. You've all seen this chart, haven't you? Price of Bitcoin on the daily. Every popular analyst is looking at this chart. Not good, folks. Not good at all. Our dreams of watching crypto do any sort of recovery this year have been squashed. Righty. Everyone thinking it's going to be above 6,000. It can't break below it. And Crypto Jeb, I'm calling you out right now. Yeah. We know you said it's possible it can go down, but you, with all the emphasis and everything except for a promise, you had everyone convinced it wouldn't go below 6,000. And boy, you were wrong. Wrong as can be. So let's get into this, because really, to get into what's going on, we got to get a little tighter than the daily chart. The daily chart gives us a good look at what is going on during this crash here. So basically, we need to analyze this to this. F everything else. This, we'll factor this in later, but basically right here, $6,000 is going to become the biggest and most important point sell pressure in cryptocurrency. If we can ever see Bitcoin make its way up to 6,000 and break higher and get up to maybe 7 grand, that's when the new bull market will begin again. I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin at 6,000 for a long time. Let's just take you to the log chart to give you a better visual perspective, okay? Puts everything in perspective, okay? Yeah, it's going to be a minute. You're not going to, from something this severe and this consequential, you're not going to see an immediate just pink. That doesn't happen. We're going to have to see the natural burn off, the natural accumulation, and the natural run up again if this market is going to come back. But the severity of this correction is distressing, because it's not like, we kind of came down a bit, got some, and we trickled down. I mean, we are slamming down, and it's pretty frightening if you are, long in the crypto game. But when markets become volatile, there is a lot of short-term opportunity if you can accept the risk, and that's the fun. So let's take it to the hour chart now to give you a little better perspective of what's going on. All right. And of course, we were hovering in this sort of range between like 6,200 to 6,500, fighting in that range here. And then bottom dropped out. And just within a matter of hours, we went from 6,400 down to 5,400, and then a textbook bear flag. Yep, that's what they call a bear flag, and that you see the initial dump, right? And absolutely no recovery, no dead cat bounce. I talked about this in my Facebook Live video earlier. Absolutely no dead cat bounce, tons of pressure, and eventually a tiny little bit of a bull trap here on this candle, but then smash coming all the way down. Anyone who shorted the market here was doing great. Shout out to Crypto Kirby. I've been following him and listening to his advice and analysis, and he was shorting heavily in the market at this time. Again, a little more of a fight here, a little bit of a little bounce back, but completely just eaten and back down. Another bear flag, not quite as textbook, but then we come all the way down to this $3,500 bottom. This is free fall central, very, very scary. But at some point, regardless of the severity, the price will get so low that enough people will look at it and say, holy shit, man, it's going real low, it'll go back up. And put simply, that's what we saw here. Saw it initially here, it gets scared and then comes back down. But now, look at this. Okay? Very quick dive down, not down there that long, back up. Now on this one, watching my little cursor here, it fought longer. It took longer, more buys and sells, and when it got down to that range, it stayed there and fought. Lots of depth on the candles, an increase in volume, and then we saw this more kind of natural run up. The problem is there is a huge amount of pressure at $4,500. So now we're going to start drawing our lines, okay? So, and you can't draw these perfect. What I try to do is get them on the top of the solid color, which is like the average of that candle's hour or whatever. That is our point of pressure. Now, let's take it back out to the bigger time scale. Remember in my Facebook video, I talked about different time scales in the market. So on the daily, for example, okay, and, you know, to give you a better visual on this, bear with me. I'm doing the 4 hour, but you'll see what I'm doing here. I don't feel like paying for this, okay? Like this, all right? Give it a little angle of the tops. And we were all below this little angle here. But when we got here, that's when we started seeing a whole lot of pressure meeting up with this angle. And you'll see that be more evident on the 1 hour chart. And when Bitcoin was in this area, this is when I started getting worried, because I'm like, are we going to get pushed down by this sort of angle? Are we going to break above it? And yesterday, I'll admit, I was starting to get excited. We're sitting here, Bitcoin is starting to test 4,400 for the second time. And there was a lot of positive sentiment in the market. Are we going to see Bitcoin doing something like this or following this angle? But as the day went on, we just didn't break any higher. I started getting scared, and for good reason. So, but let's take this back out and make this a little bit more simple, because I'm diving into the more technical side of it. When markets correct like this, they typically happen in a 3-wave pattern, which on a long time scale would look something like 1, maybe 2, and then, never mind, I did not want to do that, 3. And the thing is, you don't know exactly where these are going to go to. It could be like this, okay? It could be like this. You don't know. But when the whole pattern has played out, there'll be 3 cycles in it. All right? But inside of that, you have the shorter timetable. So for example, when a market is bullish, you'll see a 5-point breakout, looking something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you can have this breakout wave, not breakout, but bullish wave inside of the longer term bearish wave. And so, but why is this so important, right? Because if we're sort of operating under the assumption that we are inside of a longer term bearish structure, let's say. I'm just going to draw this again a little differently so you can see it better, but something like 1, and let's say maybe it meets like this area here, you know, right there. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, here. And you think the market is going to do this. That's your initial prediction. And you see it down here starting to come up here, then come back down, meeting its support, and you're like, okay, it looks like we're going to see the little 5-point movement inside of this. And then you get your little 5-pointer out, or a little 5-pointer. And you get your 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to move this around in a second. We're just getting it out there so I can talk about certain rules that have to apply. First of all, is the starting point has to be the lowest. Your first wave has to go up, and wave 2 absolutely has to be higher than, well, I should say 0.2 has to be higher than 0.0. If this is below, it's not a 5-point Elliott breakout wave. So first of all is a high or low, first rule. Third wave typically is the longest, but for it to be an Elliott, a 5-point wave, it has to break higher than 0.1. So this qualifies for a third wave. You understand? So higher lows, higher highs, and then this appeared to be a wave 4. And now people were looking for the wave 5. Hoping for the wave 5. Didn't happen. So now, screw this B. This B was here, and C is going to look like this. And now the most critical thing here is, can Bitcoin hold on and keep from going below 3,700? Because if it goes below 3,700, we know that we're now in that 3-point down wave here. let's get rid of that 5-pointer, okay? Because it didn't go break up. It failed to make the 5th wave. Let's get rid of that. And do shorter 3-point Elliott corrected wave. All right. I'm like down here, here, and like that. We're not sure how it's going to be yet. It might be, start it like that, but it'll be something. So right now, people in Bitcoin are looking for a short V wave and an exit in the market. And anyone holding right now, I got a little bit of something. So I'm looking for a point to exit, but right now I'm kind of really about to get out of it, looking at this a little tighter, now doing some of my own analysis for personal reasons now. I mean, to me, this is kind of starting to look like a bear flag. The biggest concern to me is on the 4-hour chart, in that this went below this. That's my big concern. Because like 1, 2, and here this low here on the average doesn't even really make you think it's a true, wave. The no higher low, but this is deeply concerning that we went from all the way up here on a 4-hour candle and went below our here. And now this is looking to me like a bear flag, but on a obviously a shorter timetable. Yeah. Testing deeply on the wicks. Yeah, I honestly, if I had to, I'm gonna probably look for a point, get off here and see what I can do with my account. But yeah. I'm not liking the way this looks, and I'm not even going into the indicators yet. But damn tool is what I'm looking for. Sometimes this thing just confuses me. I think we are about to see another wave or something like that. I think we're going to come down and we're going to meet this bottom, 37, 36, 3,500, depending on the exchange. Bitfinex is usually about $100 higher than the average, but it has like some of the most volume, so it's good for analysis. But yeah, and if we test this bottom too hard, we might, you understand? So very, very dangerous time to be in cryptocurrency. I would personally bail out of this right now and wait, but the repercussions on the longer term are really distressing, because we're not getting any sort of recovery that would even indicate that the bear market has seen a bottom. If you have a drop this severe, the eventual drop at the less steep angle, 2,000, and we're talking about a longer. But if you were in this for the long haul and you were young, this is great. This is great. I'm gonna end this video by giving you a little bit of hope here. Okay, take it to the weekly chart. Right, have long-term faith in this technology that it is going to be worth a whole lot one day. You just got to shake all the dumb money out. Okay, all the way out of them. Right? Wouldn't you love to be able to have a year or two of your life the dollar cost average across Bitcoin below $3,000? So when it finally takes its real long-term swing, and by 2025, you got your $50,000 Bitcoin way out here. You look at it on this timetable, and then you look at the market cap with space, maybe, possible. Although you're going to have every naysayer tell you that it's going to completely come down to 300 because nobody uses it. I've heard all those arguments before. You got to know what you're dealing with. Incredibly volatile market, driven entirely by speculation. The vast majority of people don't know what the technology is or what the hell they're buying. They're only buying it because they're hoping it's going to be worth more later. And because of that, when the sentiment shifts, the market's going to dive. This has to return to a condition where the people buying it are the ones who are using it actively or who understand what it is fundamentally. Until that happens, we're not going to see a true accumulation phase and subsequent run-up. Until that happens, institutional investors aren't going to take it seriously. Serious money is not going to jump in to a speculative market that's on the way out. This market has to come back down and find whatever value it's going to find. And I don't know where that price will be, but at some point, that's what it's going to have to do if you're going to see an accumulation, and if you're going to see then the interest peak back up, then the institutional money having the legalities of getting into the market in order, and then the mainstream attention, and then the manic phase, and then Bitcoin being $100,000. If it's going to happen, that's how it has to happen. And that's all I got. See y'all later.